intelligences. So our intellectual intelligence in the head, the emotional intelligence in the heart, the intuitive intelligence in the belly, and the greater intelligence around us in these bigger fields that we are part of. And then the H part of coach is to hold a space together, hold the space of curiosity, of learning, of creativity, of connection with each other. So, and usually we like to say that when we feel, centered in ourselves and open to this exploration together, and alert and aware and connected to all of our resources and holding the space together, we just, acknowledge to ourselves, I'm here, I'm present, I'm here, and I'm ready. So I'm here and I'm ready, and I'm very grateful to see all of you. Another thing we often like to do at the beginning of a process, or any process, but certainly an event like this, is to set an intention for what you would like to learn, to receive, to contribute, to get. So you might want to just think, what is your intention for this time that we have together in the next 50 minutes or so, 45, 50 minutes. I know some of you, like our friend Massimiliano, has gotten up very early in the morning, very early, 4:30 in the morning. For some of you, it's late at night. For Liviu, it's 10:30 at night, and very early for some of our friends from Persia. So I just wanted to say, first of all, welcome to everybody. I want to first say a big thank you to Toki for organizing this, to Toktam for helping to organize this, and really she took the lead in making this happen. So I honor that. I want to thank Teresa for being here with us. She's been the organizer of NLP University. I believe, Teresa, we started in 1991, so that's 30 years ago. So it's our 30th, our actual 30th anniversary this year, which is pretty amazing. I also want to acknowledge Michelle Rausch, who's with us, one of our big resource team members and facilitators, and also Deb Roundy, who just has appeared, waving to us, who will also be doing, our key skills review in a few, actually, I think in another week or so. So welcome to everybody. Our purpose here is to go over what we'll be doing in this unprecedented and innovative virtual master practitioner program. And so I'll say a few words about that. And I think probably some of the most important parts then is finding out what questions you have about that. I'll also give Teresa and our resource team, an opportunity to share something too, if they would like. So, we're heading into a second year where we are unable to do our program live on the UC Santa Cruz campus. And that is always an opportunity to innovate, which is why we are doing our master practitioner virtually this year. We did our practitioner virtually last year, and it was very successful, and we also learned a lot. So the idea here is that we really want to keep the same quality standards of being able to really have people not only just intellectually learn the master practitioner skills, but to really, we like to say, get them in the muscle. And that means also, doing and practicing. So what we're doing this year is similar to what we did last year with the practitioner, which is doing what we call flipping the classroom. So, in a typical, oops, I think we might, if you're not speaking, you might want to mute. Yeah, I think Deb Roundy, I think you might be not muted. I think we're getting a little there. Thank you. This is always the tricky part of doing Zoom. It's the one thing. Um, but as I was saying, this idea of flipping the classroom, and what that means is that, in a typical classroom situation, and I'm sure it's probably similar in many places around the world, people come to the classroom and they get lectured to by the teacher, and then they go home and they do their homework. And there's nobody to ask if they don't understand, so they struggle with that. And when they come back in, there's really no time or very little time. They just get another lesson and they have to go home and try to do their homework. If they're lucky, their parents can try to help them. But the idea of flipping the classroom is that you do the lecture part at home. So what we're doing this year, as we did last year, is I'm personally recording over 30 master practitioner master classes on every key topic of master practitioner training. And a master class is a 20 to 40 minute video that is devoted, and it's intensely focused on a particular topic. And the purpose is to be very, very intensely focused, but also very clear. And I actually really love that format. It suits my teaching style very well because I will use our PowerPoints, and I'm try to use a lot of good illustrations in those PowerPoints to really make clear what it is that we are exploring in that masterclass. And our master classes this year cover all kinds of things, from meta program patterns to a lot of the different ways of working with beliefs and advanced submodalities. Right now, today I've been working on the introduction to the sleight of mouth, which is about conversational belief change. So there's a very, very rich, let's say, library of these master classes. And of course, what we do is we will be posting them ahead of time so that you will be able to be watching them. You don't have to try to do everything on the day of. And what we do is my brother Michael is creating what we call a dashboard for the whole program. And certain videos will be available on certain days, but as I said, usually ahead of time, so that you don't have to try to rush everything on that day. And we know that depending upon time zones, different people can't watch it on some of the days. They'd have to watch it ahead of time. Now, the other thing that we do with these video master classes is I have all of them transcribed, and then I go over and I do a sort of a basic editing. I'm not trying to rewrite them, but sort of editing it. And then they're posted. So you get the video and you get the transcript. It's not subtitled, but it is a transcript, because the idea here is you can use the Google Translate function and then translate that whole transcript into whatever language that you want. We're very aware that some languages, the Google Translate works much better than others, but still, I have found that it's a really, really useful and valuable tool. And especially if you know some English and you want to supplement your understanding. Now, we do the same thing with all the PowerPoints. The PowerPoints are posted there, and you can translate all of the PowerPoints to whatever language. Google Translate has several hundred languages now. Then we will also be posting some pre-recorded demonstrations, also transcribed. And like last year, we're planning to do this graphic facilitation Antonio Mesa, who has illustrated a number of my books, and he did the graphic facilitation for last year's practitioner. It adds a whole other level of learning. It's a very visual way of learning. So he goes over the master classes and does a graphic facilitation. So you can then follow along that. And it gives you a very brief, but a very clear visual summary of what the key concepts of the masterclass or the demos. So now the other thing then, of course, that's the part of the classroom that you do on your own. So that's the part you're doing essentially out of the classroom. Then we have 2 plenary sessions each day during the master practitioner training. There's a session that's in the morning here in California, which is in the evenings in Europe. So it's a little easier time frame for our Massimilio, our European attendee here. But we also do an evening presentation here in California, which is this time of day, essentially. And that's for our Asia Pacific group. Now, the topics are essentially the same, but of course the plenaries are never directly the same. And part of what we do in the plenaries is we're reviewing some of the key parts of the the master class. We generally then will also do a demo with somebody who's attending. They are recorded, of course. And we also generally will have graphic facilitation for at least one of the plenaries, not both. It's a little tricky. The plenaries are 90 minutes, and their purpose is to really explore, it's the part where there's the interaction, the question and answers, and demos. Then, and this is where our facilitation and resource team and some of our affiliates come in. Then we have scheduled practice sessions on Zoom in local time zones and local languages. And when we can in local languages. But then, Michelle and Deb Roundy and a couple of our other facilitators, Toki as well, will be doing practice sessions. So it's a very, very complete experience. And by the way, what we did last year with the practitioner was at the, we finish the master practitioner training, official training on August 19th. But we don't necessarily expect that everybody will have completed everything by then. So we usually extend that period so that you're not, again, pressured to try to do everything, and you have an opportunity to complete all of the activities. There are also, I meant to say, on the dashboard, there will be online assessments as well, so that we're tracking your progress as you go. Now, those online assessments, of course, can only tell us, they can't tell us everything because we can't observe you, but it lets us know and you know that you're following along with these key models and the key practices and the key processes. So we find that it's been a very useful and a very successful way of learning. And I know that, before last year, I would have hesitated about doing a whole master practitioner virtually. The pandemic sort of forced us into trying it out, and we were actually quite pleased at how much we could really, transmit through this medium. I find, for example, I see that some of the actual advantages of a virtual practitioner or master practitioner is that everybody has a front row seat. There's nobody closer than the others, where some are in the back and it's harder to see or harder to hear. And secondly, when I'm doing a demo, everybody sees exactly what I see. So, they're seeing what I see, you're hearing what I hear. So that's not like, again, if somebody's sitting on one side of the room and the person is not facing them, or it's harder to hear, where you're struggling to say, what did they say if they talk more quietly? So there's actually a lot of advantages. And of course, the plenary sessions are recorded and they're available to watch later if you can't make them. So for instance, if you can't make the first plenary of the day because of time zone difference, you can always watch the recording of it. So it's really a good way to get a full master practitioner experience. The other thing that we are doing, and we did this with our practitioner as well, is we have a library of our previous master practitioner programs. So we will have, for example, an audio library from a previous year's master practitioner that you can listen to if you want. I mean, it's not required, it's not mandatory, but we want to post all of these resources. The other thing that we're doing, and we did this with our practitioner as well, is we are inviting our affiliate trainers to contribute their own short master classes in their own languages. And for example, we just got a master class from one of our affiliates, Rita Alleluia from Portugal, in Portuguese, where she's actually showing how to do the coach state. And we're expecting to get more of these short videos in different languages. So it's a very rich multicultural experience. And one of the things that the two things that we've really loved about doing our NLP university programs over the years, the first one is a sense of community, a sense that we are all part of something together. And that happens naturally when everybody is together at the UC Santa Cruz campus, and we're living together and spending all day and all night together. But we've also been happy to see that there is the possibility of having these online community feeling, that you really do begin to get that sense of knowing each other, of working together, of learning together. The second thing that we've always been very excited about and has been a wonderful part of our NLP university programs, our NLP international programs, in fact, is our multicultural, experience. And again, that's something that is just a natural part of being together in the same place and the same time. But once again, we've also found that we can still maintain that flavor when we do this online. So we've been really pleased to feel that we didn't completely lose that. Of course, we can't wait to get back together in person at the University of California, where NLP was actually born. But we do find that the virtual class has really a lot of good advantages from learning, for a learning purpose. And just maybe another few words about then the whole idea of the bridge class, the bridge program, because I know, Massimiliano, you were interested in attending the bridge. So the bridge, I believe the bridge starts on the 13th, and we'll have a special orientation session, and then we'll join the rest of the class from there. The bridge class, in my understanding, you will still have access to the whole dashboard if you want to look at some of the earlier ones, but we'll only be expecting you to follow the one starting on the 14th. And the 13th is a day off for the rest of the program, the people in the program. And now, why do we do the bridge? What we want to cover in the bridge are the things that we feel have come from later generations that people might not have been able to cover in an earlier master practitioner program, because NLP has continued to evolve. I know I've continued to evolve, and what we teach at NLPU 30 years later is not the same thing we were teaching in 1991. I can guarantee you that, because a lot of NLP has been developed since then, especially what we call the second and third generations of NLP. And these are really incorporating more than just the cognitive mind. We like to say that, the very early generations of NLP were primarily, and rightfully so, a cognitive psychology. It was at the beginning of the cognitive revolution. And so the first books by Bandler and Grinder are all about language and representational systems and all the things that happen in the head, which is a really important part of course, our neurolinguistics. But language is not only verbal, language is nonverbal. And the nervous system isn't just in the head, it extends all the way through the body to the heart, to the belly, to the whole somatic intelligence and emotional intelligence. And then our third generation has explored a lot more about the intelligence that happens within we say the field between people, and that is generated by interaction. There's an intelligence that can never come just from an individual. And so a big part of our master practitioner program is how we incorporate these other dynamics into our master practitioner processes. So the bridge idea here is that it's the meaning of the bridge is it's bridging people who have had earlier trainings, master practitioner trainings, so that they're completely up to date. And of course, if they didn't get their master practitioner at NLPU, you're then getting an NLPU master practitioner certificate, which NLPU is probably one of the most well-known of the institutes in the world. We probably have one of the longest and the strongest reputations. So that's more or less our background. So to the program, we'll be posting, I'm sure, very soon, all of the things we'll be covering for the bridge program. I mean, we already know what they are, but we'll be letting you know. Also, the bridge people, again, as we say, you will have access to the rest of what the others who have gone through the first days have gone through, so you can do review if you want. And I don't know if we want to say a little bit about also our our basic practitioner skills review there that we're doing, that Deb Roundy and that Michelle Rausch and who are the others? Maybe
that would be awesome. Deborah or Michelle maybe can share some information
yes.
about what you're doing.
Would Michelle or Deborah be interested?
Yeah, I think Michelle is available.
Michelle, are you available?
Yes. Yeah.
But we can't see you.
Let me find you.
I can't turn it on this end. I can't turn it on.
Oh, can we help you?
Sure.
Glad to help you turn that on. Hold on. There you are.
Okay, maybe I'll try it now.
Yeah, no, give it a try. There you are. Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Yes. And so the question is, you want to know some of the other facilitators that are.
Well, actually, what we were going to first just talk about is the program that you will be doing ahead of time.
So, okay. Yeah. That's the key concepts. There are 5 different sessions to it beginning tomorrow morning. And it's Pacific Standard Time, 8 a.m. And we will meet for 1 hour. And we have a format that we use. And the idea for key concepts is to familiarize, to get an idea of some of the things from the practitioner training, so that when you go into the master track, you have that background. And it's an opportunity for you to practice. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Deb has created a wonderful format. Hi, Deb. And the idea is, we will cover different parts of it. We'll start with the coach state. Everybody will get an opportunity.
Deb, when you're going to have to mute, it's a little too loud. Come on.
I think somebody's there.
Right there. Okay.
And we will also do one different practice session, for about 15 minutes on a meta model and a Milton model pattern. And that'll be for all 5 of those times. And we are meeting every Saturday and every Tuesday at the same time, 8 a.m. Until I think the last one is July 31st. So please come. And then after that, we've got the meta model, the Milton model, and then we'll have a main program. For instance, tomorrow we'll have the Disney strategy, and we will start that. Okay.
So I think, again, to me, the wonderful thing about that is it's a great way to sort of review those, basic skills, like the key, like you were saying, sort of the key concepts that are really helpful for the master practitioner.
That's right. Yeah.
Coach state, communication matrix, Disney strategy, neurological levels, and the alignment process, score model, bagel model. Score is probably something that most of you didn't get in practitioner. We only touch on it. So it's really our fundamental master practitioner model. So we'll definitely be taking off on that. And then the bagel model, meta model, Milton model, metaphors. What a great program.
It's going to be fun. And I like the idea that it'll give people an opportunity to meet and kind of bond, just have that opportunity before the program even starts.
Yeah.
And so you know that you'll have a study buddy if you want one.
And do you have the Zoom address for people who want to join this tomorrow?
Yes, we do. And
Okay.
it's
so anyone who wants
or do they have to register first?
Should register with me after this Zoom is over, and then
Yes.
we will give you the Zoom address for the meeting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Teresa.
Great.
I want to say, if someone wants to enroll, maybe they can type their email address on the chat so we can get back to them today.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's a different time zone tomorrow, though. It's going to be a little slightly different time frame. It'll be late at night for the people in Europe. But so I think what I'd like to just do is to see if there are any questions that you have. I'm sure that I have not touched upon everything that we're going to be doing. So if you have any questions, you can either, unmute yourself or raise your hand, or you can type it into the chat box. Just think for a moment. Is there anything that you would want to find out about?
Well, Robert, this year we're adding coaching to the.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Teresa. You're exactly right. Thank you for mentioning that. We forgot to say that this year, what we realized is that our master practitioner is really, it's as much of a coach training as any other coach training. So we are, and you will learn really key coaching skills. So we are actually adding to our master practitioner, officially to our master practitioner certification, that it's an NLP master practitioner and coaching certificate. And that could be also very helpful for a lot of people, because to have a coaching certificate from NLPU, I think could be a really useful thing for you. So yeah, thank you, Teresa. And again, we will be emphasizing how the master practitioner, practices are, so relevant for coaching. NLP has always been relevant for coaching, and probably one of the most frankly popular coaching books is the Coach to Awakener, and I know that's used by a lot of people in the coaching world. And so we'll be working with all of those different levels of coaching, you know, from guide to basic coach, to teacher, to mentor, to sponsor, to awakener. So yes. Anything else I forgot, Teresa? You should probably let me know. You're muted though, Teresa. We can't hear you. You're muted, Teresa. We can't hear you.
Robert, you're very comprehensive, and you've talked a lot about everything good about the master practitioner, but you also have really good projects going on that are bigger than any one program. And, you know,
Right. Well,
the field of NLP is connected to the all the parts of the world that, you know, we want to provide assistance and inspiration.
yes.
To.
Thank you. Yes, because you know, one of the things that we always do, and this is something I thank you again for reminding me, because we always have a theme each year for our programs. And you know, this year, as we're coming, you know, hopefully coming more and more out of this pandemic, but we are facing tremendous other challenges now. I think the pandemic sort of, in a way, distracted us from some of these bigger challenges that we here in California and in the West Coast of the United States are experiencing, with tremendous drought and danger, constant danger of wildfires. And I know people in Northern Europe are suffering from extreme flooding. And, you know, the climate is really out of balance. So one of our themes this year is on sustainability. And I've actually have been running for the past, you actually started around, just not literally before the pandemic, started a study that we've been speaking of for a long time on sustainability and modeling what people are doing in order to contribute to sustainable development, not only in companies, but of course it's necessary for big companies, but also on an individual level. And most importantly, and this is where I think NLP comes in so significantly, is what's the mindset change that needs to happen? You know, my wife, Deborah, and I, you know, are constantly sort of just astonished at what people do to trash, you know, they just throw trash. I mean, the accumulation of plastics, I mean, and all these things that are so damaging to our climate and our environment. And we at NLPU, when we were meeting live, we're already doing tremendous number of things to address that. Remember, one year Lorna was giving us cups with our names on it, reusable cups, which we've also done, and doing composting, and you know, but it's a mindset shift. There it is. Lorna showing us the cup. It's a mindset shift that has to happen, and it has to happen. I mean, it's not just, gee, it would be good or it's important. It's necessary. And so we really want to bring a greater awareness to that. I've also, in the past couple of years, been working on looking at modeling effective healthcare systems. So actually modeling in a whole ecosystem, not just, I mean, I've been involved in NLP and health since the very beginning, especially as a health coaching, but this is an even bigger project of looking at what's the mindset shift that has to happen for healthcare. And again, this last year and a half has shown us the absolute necessity and significance of that. And we've modeled, actually in Italy, in Massimiliano's area, we modeled one of the major hospitals there. It's in the top, I know it's in the top 50 hospitals in the entire world. It's in the top 3 hospitals for gastroenterology. And it's an amazing place. And we've been modeling transplant centers. We've been modeling patient advocacy groups. We've been modeling research groups. So we're really looking at how NLP can help us to really change the world. And that's what NLP, I think, was always about. And I think we've got more chance than ever now. We've got more tools than ever. And you know, with the quality of people like you all who are here with us today, joining us, I think we really have a chance to make a difference. And I think we pretty much have to. I mean, I think if we don't, we're going to find ourselves past a tipping point. So so yeah, I think this is, you know, we've always said, and I think this is what NLP has brought to NLP in a way and to the world. It's always surprising to me that so many people think, oh, NLP is this manipulative thing that you do to others, which I can, of course, yes, of course, any tool you can use that way. But at NLPU, the people that come to NLPU are so inspired and so charged to go out and, you know, do something that makes a difference in the world. And people have done so many wonderful things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that, you know, along those lines, I really appreciate that this year Toki quit her regular job to come be full-time, promoting herself and lots of different trainers in the field of NLP. And she's doing it in a very forward-thinking, creative way and bringing us along somewhat too. I would also say that we value this online format because we can reach so far around the world, as Robert was explaining. And if we have more institutes that are translating Robert's practitioner videos and making use of them directly from the developer to your participants, we do have other institutes joining Robert's way and coming along on this journey. But we really see that this technology, right, Robert, next year you're going to do the 2022 trainer and consultancy program as a total hybrid, right, Robert?
Yes, yes, you got it. I mean, it will be, it's going to be very interesting because it will be hybrid, which means some people will be there physically and some people will be there online. And I've actually done quite a few hybrids. I'm starting next week. I'm going to be doing a hybrid program on the magic of language with one part of the group will be live in Tokyo, another will be live in Osaka, and another part will be online. So 150 people. And it's very interesting. The technology is there now, and we used to. I mean, Teresa knows we used to dream of this years ago. That, you know, this was the future of universities. That universities would not just only be for an elite group of people that could sort of go there physically, that we would be able to democratize it more and get it out to make it available to more people in more different languages. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we're committed to keep doing and to keep upgrading too as we go through the years. And we're hoping that our you know, those of you who are going to be master practitioners now will be trainers and master trainers, and then affiliates with us, authorized and affiliates with us to really bring this vision of what we can do with NLP to the world.
The world needs the field of NLP now, and I think we all know that. And so, you know, we want to support you as the next generation of trainers or coaches or consultants to bring this technology, because it is a whole process to learn it. It's not quick and easy. People can't just pick it up and use it.
Definitely, you can't just do it from reading a book. And actually, this is where some of the multimedia tools, I actually find that what I can do now to help communicate something through this medium is in some ways even more, I can communicate more accurately than if I was trying to speak or with a flip chart. I can use more animation possibilities. So, but as Teresa was saying, it's also about living it. It's about experiencing it. And Teresa, I was just thinking, you know, Teresa and I both go way back to the early 1970s and when NLP was first just getting started, and what we've seen NLP do. I was actually just doing an interview yesterday with Roberto Ray, you might know Massimiliano, and he was saying, how is it that it's after, it's been over 50 years or, almost 50 years now. Why is NLP still relevant when so many of these other things have disappeared? And I was saying for two reasons. One is because NLP really addresses the most fundamental parts of being human. It's never gonna be obsolete. And the second part is because NLP is alive and it keeps developing. We keep modeling new things. So, we keep using new technologies. So this is an example, the fact that we were able to do this virtually. I was surprised when the pandemic first happened, how many of my fellow NLP trainers said, you cannot do NLP online. You just can't do it. So we're basically going out of business until the pandemic is over. And we said, wait a minute, we have a different perspective. And the tools have developed, and Teresa, we've done online stuff actually for years. We were doing things where we had communication going on with a group in Chile many years ago through ISDN lines, long before wireless. But one of the things that we do at NLPU is we stay fresh. And I think Toki is a great example of somebody who's a next generation coming in, whereas some of these other practices, you've got the people who are, retired and going out, and that's fine. That's part of the cycle. But what I think we've always done is we've always said that NLPU is a place for dreamers. And we have our banner, which is, imagineering the future. And that's what we live. And the idea of imagineering, from the Disney strategy is imagining what's possible and making it real. And getting people to who have the same vision and the same enthusiasm of all generations. And that's why, with Michelle, with Deb Roundy, with Toki, and with our other trainers and our other facilitators, that's why we say it's a really exciting community to belong to. So I don't know, I'm going to check. I don't know if there's any other questions, anything I'm looking in our chat box. I don't really see anything there. Anything you want to know, anybody, about anything?
Robert, I really want to thank you for being here tonight and
sure.
and touching base with all of us. And it's a small but special group.
It is
somehow.
And it's not that small.
Seeing your faces is inspirational. Seeing that you're from all around the world, and a lot of people are from Iran with Toki, and I so appreciate.
Okay, Zari is raising her hands.
I see two people have raised their raised their hands. So yes, please unmute yourselves and
Zari, unmute yourself.
And ask in whatever language.
Hello. فقط می‌خواستم سوال ندارم.
Hello.
Hi, Robert.
We can't see you.
But we hear you.
Are you able to?
I'm so sorry.
To turn on your camera.
فقط می‌خواستم. Okay.
So she's saying, I don't have any question. I just wanted to say thank you. It's very early. Maybe she's going to go to work. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So she just wanted to say how much I'm excited to join, and thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
فقط منتظرم هیجان زده برای شروع کلاس و مرسی از
Can't wait. I'm excited and can't wait to see you in the class. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Me too. I'm excited too.
Me too.
And somebody else had their hand up too, I think, though.
Yes, Mahmoud has a question.
Mahmoud, yes, Mahmoud. You're muted and your camera is off, though, Mahmoud. We'd hit here. Let's see. Mahmoud, are you there? There you are. Hello, Mahmoud.
صدای منو داری؟
بله بله صداتون رو داریم، تصویرتون قطع و وصل میشه ولی صداتون داریم الان.
سوال من اینه که یه جا میخوندم که انجمن روانپزشکی آمریکا American Psychiatric Association برای بالا بردن بهداشت روانی آدم ها 350 مدل درمانی تا حالا ثبت شده. میخواستم بدونم آیا NLP جزو این مدل هست، یعنی در انجمن روانپزشکی آمریکا ثبت شده و اگر نشده چرا؟
So he's asking, I read it from an article that the American Psychiatrists Association Society, they have been, you know, kind of like publishing and having more than 350 models to help people to improve their mindset and stuff like that. And I was wondering if NLP is one of those topics that they are working on it.
You know, what I'm sure of is if it's not formally, it is in you know, in what they're doing and what is working. You know, the whole interesting thing about NLP is from the very beginning, NLP is about modeling what works. So if it works, we're looking at it and then we're putting it into a structure. The drawback of early NLP was that Bandler and Grinder didn't really care about research. And so they didn't take the steps to make it formally researched. But so much of what NLP is about, by the time it's researched, it's sort of too late. You know, that's about the past, and we need these new things as well. But I'm sure that a lot of these things that the American Psychiatric Association is looking at either are NLP or have their roots in NLP in some way, whether it's officially or formally stated or not. Because, you know, NLP, it's been so absorbed into our culture. It's amazing. People are often doing NLP and they don't know it. And I'll say, hey, well, that's NLP. And they say, oh, really? So I guess the honest answer, Mahmoud, is I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that whatever they are doing will have some connection with NLP.
Me personally, one of the techniques that I know they are using, because one of my friends she's a psychiatrist and using it in New York, is the perceptional position that you sit in different position that they are using it. And actually, she was teaching me that. She was like, "Do you want to use this technique? It's very useful." And
see, they don't know. People don't know where it comes from, and that's. But that's why it's important. We've done our work. And at NLP University, with NLP University Press, we published that 1,600-page encyclopedia where we made clear where these things come from. So I'm sure that will also be a very important resource. I see that Michelle has her hand up. Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, I wanted to say that even like with EMDR, which is very much accepted in the psychological community, it was developed by Francine Shapiro, and the development of it came from an NLP class that she took on eye accessing cues way back when. Yes. And so he developed this one tiny little part of NLP and expanded on it. And I think of another one is Richard Gray, where he has created a trauma protocol, and Frank Bork. And it's the
reconsolidation of traumatic memories that they specifically said, we're not going to name it NLP so that it doesn't get, you know, all this, any how would I say, you know, unnecessary association. But it was clearly, I mean, I was there. I mean, Frank Bork started that, Teresa, in the Millennium follow-up at 2005. That's when he started that specifically to research it. And that the protocol they use is precisely the NLP trauma process. There's nothing different about it. It is that process.
It's the same thing with Richard Gray. He developed a lot of programs for individuals who suffer from addiction. and he used an anchoring process, but he built it up and developed it and wrote a book on it. And then he happened to be, for my dissertation, which is in psychology, PhD in psychology, and my dissertation was on NLP, but he was one of the people on my committee, and he was very, very committed to NLP. He said that it's just the cutting edge in psychology.
Yes.
So, and he still believes that. I think he's just taking this piece with Frank in a different direction, but it's all NLP. And one other thing I wanted to say, Robert, a positive psychology, which has been created by Seligman,
Yes.
It's really a very popular, very well-known form of psychology, but NLP predated that by 25 years. 25 years. Yeah. So we were the original positive psychology, and then he actually created something that he calls positive psychology.
Well, and I'm presenting again this year at the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference, where I've presented for many years to thousands of psychologists and psychiatrists from around the world. I'm probably doing as much or more than any other presenter this year. But I presented with people like Daniel Siegel, where they're saying, yes, this is there's absolutely, this is what we're doing. This is so NLP is it, as you say, Michelle. I think it's the precursor to a lot of what is considered the leading edge of psychology now. We were doing 25, 40 years ago.
And you could say the same about education and business consulting and health and a lot of other things. If there was a book just pinpointing, not the encyclopedia is encyclopedia, but just an interesting book that hit those highlights in all the different areas that NLP has really helped their areas be more efficient, be, as Robert will say, more than anything, useful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm proud and happy, and thanks goodness, and thank you all for being in this field, and for the leadership that we have, and for the community that we have, and the inspiration we get from each other, because I just see so much progress has been made, but most of the world has not tapped into it yet. So there's work to be done.
Lots of work to be done, and we're doing it. And we hope you come and join us and do it. Take it next to next.
There is just one last question. Michelle, do you want to read that? Maybe it's related to what Mahmoud was asking earlier. Mary is asking.
What is Mary asking? Do they recognize NLP? Do they believe in NLP programming? It depends on who you talk to. Some people believe in it. Certainly Richard Gray does. A lot of people believe in it. Like I'm saying, the reason I go to this Evolution of Psychotherapy conference is because I'm one of the more popular presenters, and that's because I actually teach people something they can use. So
there's a lot. There is kind of a controversy for some people.
Yes.
But what I really noticed is that when those psychiatrists and psychologists take NLP, they incorporate it into their work and they get results.
Yes.
And that's kind of the bottom line. And if you think in terms of any of these 350 different processes, psychological processes, none of them, they all work about the same. There's kind of like no particular one is any better. So they all get a certain amount of results. But with NLP, there is like this comprehensive, not only the foundation as an epistemology, which is the study of knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah.
But and but beyond that, it takes in all of those in different aspects in the modeling process. So of course you're going to get better results. Yeah. And I've tried, like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is really popular But now they're finding it's not that great because it only addresses part of the person.
Exactly.
NLP addresses the whole person and beyond.
So, well, thank you, everybody. I know that we're getting close to our closing time here. So I just want to say thank you for joining us. It's really been a joy to see the ones that we can see and feel the presence of the others, and just welcome you to our NLPU community. And big thanks again to Toki for doing the work to make this possible. So thank you. Toki, anything you want to say at the end, or anything to say goodbye?
Just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. It was early morning for my people, and thanks for helping me and supporting us to make it possible for everything. Yeah. And looking forward to see everyone in August 6th. Yeah.
August 6th, when we start.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
All right, everyone.
Thank you so much.
We have to say good morning, good evening, good night, good whatever time of day it is there.
The funniest thing is in Iran, they have the day off on Monday. I mean, they have on Friday. And today now is the very first moment of the week is starting. And now we are going happy weekend. So this is interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the beginning of our weekend and the end of a weekend. So
exactly.
We are in sunrise.
Yeah, sunrise. It's sunrise where Massimiliano is. The sun is rising. Okay.
Goodbye,
bye,
everyone. It was really nice to be with you.
Yeah, it was really great to be with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Robert, and everyone. This is the best thing that ever happened to the world.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
See you,
it's
Boris.
Changing the whole thing is
everybody.
making it better. Thank you.
We are.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank
love you all too.
Bye.
Bye, Boris.
Bye. Greetings from Beijing.
Yes.
Bye. Bye for now.
مرسی توکتن جون.
It was really nice to see so many friends of Toki there. And Tina.
Yeah.
اوکی بچه ها مرسی، خیلی ممنون دوستان ایرانی دیگه. امیدوارم که روز خوبی داشته باشین و موفق باشین و عزیزانی هم که دوست داشتین همراه ما بشین انشالله که همراه بشین. Thank you, Teresa. It was fun to see you.
It was wonderful.